So it seems like MultiVersus is not nearly as popular as it once was. Um, and the reason I say that is because it was revealed not too long ago that the game is supposed to be getting delisted on May 30th of this year. It's going to remain playable offline, but at the same time, um, the fact that it's being delisted is really not a good sign in relation to this game and its popularity among gamers. This is a game that was it had like a beta release back in 2022, and I feel like that was probably the peak of its popularity because at one point it had somewhere between 10 to 20 million online players. And the full version of this game didn't come out until 2024, so that was spring of this past year. And it seems like the player count continued to decline within the past couple of months, and because of that, Warner Brothers games, they've been losing a lot of money on multiverses. In fact, I revealed in a previous video that they had lost like around $100 million because the game underperformed. And along with this game, I mentioned that the Suicide Squad game was a massive failure. So yeah, Warner Brothers lost millions of dollars in relation to video games because of multiverses and the Suicide Squad game failing. And a lot of people wondered what the future of Warner Brothers, gaming division is going to be because it doesn't seem like they could put out games that really connects with casuals or any games that could compete with like competitors in relation to like, sales or, making money or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I really have no idea what the future of multiverses is going to be, other than it being delisted and the fact that we're getting another season. We're supposed to be getting like a season 5, like in the future, and then after that, the game is going to be delisted, and I don't know. At this point, I don't think anybody really gives a damn about multiverses anymore. I feel like the concept was pretty cool, having different larger than life characters from various franchises like DC, Looney Tunes, Cartoon Network, having them all in one game, and then just like having like a fighting free for all PvP type of thing going, but I don't know. I just feel like the launch was poorly executed, even though the idea was it seemed brilliant on paper or in theory. But yeah, I mean, Warner Brothers games for the most part hasn't really been putting out anything that's been capturing people's attention or things that people really care about for the most part. And the crazy thing about multiverses is that it's free to play. So for people to lose like interest over this game and for the player count that drops significantly over a specific period of time is really like it's really damning for this game. And I honestly wonder whether or not Warner Brothers Games is ever going to give us another fighting game. Because when it comes down to like, Warner Brothers, the fighting game that I've been waiting for quite some time is Injustice 3. And even then, I mean, you look at Injustice 2, that barely broke a million in terms of sales. And I don't think the first Injustice game did a million in terms of sales, even though it was pretty good. So it seems like when it comes to sales, like it seems like Warner Brothers games they can't really do anything with DC that's going to bolster its sales numbers within past like a million or 2 million or 3 million or anything like that. And it makes me wonder whether or not DC is anywhere near as popular as they used to be, which I'm pretty sure it's not the case because I don't know. I feel like Marvel's had more popular games, especially like recently with Marvel Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. And I think at this point, Marvel games are more popular on the PlayStation 5 than anything else. So I mean, would multiverses have been slightly more popular if it was available for the Nintendo Switch, especially considering the fact that it seems like a more casual friendly game? Because you look at the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X, or even like PC for that matter, you have more adult gamers who use those platforms. Um, and I think like with Nintendo, you have more of a general audience for the most part. And don't get me wrong, there are casuals who are like, into like PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and all that other stuff. But I don't think they would buy those consoles to play a game like Multiverses. They would buy, an Xbox console or whatever to play Call of Duty. They'll buy a PlayStation console to play something like God of War or Spider-Man or whatever, like a action RPG. Multiverses is a fighting game, and the fighting genre is not as popular as it used to be, even though Tekken 8 from last year was really popular. It ended up being the best fighting game of the year. And just because, the fighting genre of gaming is not as popular as it used to be doesn't mean it's not competitive. And I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers found that out the hard way. And I feel like if this game came out back in 2022, would have. It probably would have been way more popular than it is now. And I'm talking about the full version, not the beta test. And the crazy thing is, like the beta version of the game used the Unreal Engine 4, while the official final version of Multiverses utilized the Unreal Engine 5. So it's not like having a more superior game engine really helped this game that much, regardless. And it really makes you wonder whether or not Warner Brothers should just cut their gaming division and pretty much like try to save themselves from losing more millions as time goes by. And I feel like that's something that's eventually going to happen because it seems like a lot of gaming companies are making cutbacks and all that stuff for budget reasons. The other day, I talked about Ubisoft, how they shut down a studio, I believe in UK, because I guess because they've been losing a lot of money. Like things are getting really tough, and honestly, you can't really have games out there on the market if it's costing your company, millions of dollars. So it being delisted is something that's perfectly understandable. But yeah, I feel like Multiverse is just going to be one of those games that a lot of people are not going to look back too fondly on. I feel like the idea was cool, the execution was poor, and it seems like more people are into other games that are online and free to play, like Marvel Rivals. And I think that's something else that may have hurt this game's popularity, because even though Marvel Rivals is like a hero shooter and it's of a different genre, it's way more popular than Multiverses. Multiverse is like a thing of the past, and it seems like Marvel in general has the upper hand in relation to video games in general, much to the dismay of DC, which really makes you wonder what the future of Warner Brothers and its gaming division is going to look like in the next couple of years.